What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Countdown Scouting Network. I'm your host, Joey Garcia, and today we are breaking down and reacting to week 2 of college football. Um, this one had some better games than week 1, I will say. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to get started with some of the big boys. Starting with the Saturday slate, I guess this is how they have it. We're just going to spitball some of my reactions for the games. So starting off with Georgia versus Ball State. Number 1, Georgia started off slow again. Week 1 they came out slow. This week they came out slow. The first quarter, 0-0. They couldn't get the ball really moving. They ended up 45-3, so they kind of started picking up in there. Carson Beck still does not look good, but he's getting the ball to some of his playmakers. That's what he's needing to do. The defense still is looking fairly dominant, so that's always good. I'm still concerned about Georgia. They got South Carolina coming up this week. South Carolina is not that good of a team. I don't think they're very good, but they've got some talent, and that I think this next week is. I got Georgia on upset watch. I'll just say that. All right, going with the number 2 team, Michigan. They won 35-7. Again, this game was not great for Michigan. J.J. McCarthy looked good, not great. He was dicing the ball all over the place, was very efficient with it. We saw a little bit more downfield passing. I know last week we talked about it. I just didn't really like how everything was within 15 yards of the line of scrimmage. They had a couple shots that they ended up taking this game. Blake Corum looked good. Blake Corum is looking very, very good. He's looking how he looked last year before the injury. I'm glad he bounced back from that. But I will say Donovan Edwards, the other running back that they have there, he's not getting many touches. He's getting about somewhere between 6 and 10 touches a game, but they're not very good touches. I understand why they're going away from him and trying to get the ball into Blake Corum's hands or some other receiver's hands because he's just not looking explosive like he did last year and the year before that. So Michigan, I think, is going to be a solid team all around, but number 2, I don't know about that. We'll see once they get into conference play. Alabama ends up falling to Texas. We said this was a big possibility. That Alabama team was very suspect. They needed the run game to get going for Jalen Milroe to have success, and they could not run the ball. Jace McClelland is not like some of the running backs that they used to have. He's their lead back, and he's a solid RB3 on a roster. And for him to have to lead this Alabama team, and their offensive line's not the greatest right now either, they ended up not falling. Or they ended up falling. Texas looked good. Quinn Ewers had a really, really good game against a solid secondary. They also got the ball to Jatavion Sanders, the tight end that I talked about a little bit in our prospect evaluation for summer scouting. I didn't think he was that explosive, but he was making plays happen this game. He was making plays happen, and he's kind of proven me wrong. So I'm very happy to see him proving me wrong. He's a guy that I'm looking forward to seeing next week as well. Whoops. All right, sorry about that. I was trying to scroll. The next game we'll look at is number 4, Florida State. Let's get the big names out of the way, right? Florida State played Southern Miss. They, started off a little slow. Not as slow as Michigan or Georgia started off, but they started off a little bit slow. And they started doing weird things. They were going for it on 4th down. They were doing this. They were doing that. But all in all, they had a fine day. Jordan Travis and the starters didn't play more than a half. They got some other guys in there. Keon Coleman still looks so freaking good. Trey Benson looked fine. The couple running backs behind him looked good. This is a really good Florida State team. I think this is probably my number 2 team. And the only reason why they're not number 1 right now is because I'm going to give Georgia the benefit of the doubt until they play South Carolina. This is kind of going to be the deciding factor for me, at least, because after next week, going into week 4, that's whenever we will have our new rankings. I like to give it like 3 weeks to kind of see if teams are actually good and not go based off of the preseason rankings. I think that's kind of bogus. So let's get ahead with the next one. Ohio State, 35-7 against Youngstown State. This game was 7-14 after the first half or first quarter. It was 7-7 at one point in this game, and I don't really know what to say other than Kyle McCord struggled tremendously. They also didn't really get the running game going that well in this either. Their defense was a little suspect through the game. Luckily, they only let up 7 points. But the one thing I would say good about Ohio State, excuse me, we talked about last week, Marvin Harrison Jr. got 2 receptions for 18 yards. That's baloney. You can't have the best player in college football and only give him 2 receptions. They force-fed him for the first half, 7 receptions, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. They got Emeka Egbuka, also, I think 5 receptions as well. So they fed their talented players. That's all you have to do as Kyle McCord. There is no DB that can consistently match up one-on-one with Marvin Harrison Jr. And, okay, sure, they want to bracket him on one side. Well, you got Emeka Egbuka. You've got Julian Fleming. You've got plenty of other receivers. You get Travion Henderson out the backfield. I'm sure who's the Stover, the tight end. You know, there's so many weapons on this offense. They can't guard everyone. You need to just be a distributor. I'm not asking the Ohio State quarterback to be a C.J. Stroud, to be a Justin Fields, to be any of those quarterbacks, a Dwayne Haskins. I'm asking him to be a Stetson Bennett, which good for Stetson Bennett. He's going to make a career out of it in the NFL, hopefully. But you weren't asking Stetson Bennett to make plays. You were asking him to get the ball out to his playmakers. So that's what Kyle McCord needs to realize. Dude, you don't have to be a superstar. Get it to your playmakers. USC looked good. Again, Stanford's offense is terrible, so I'm not going to say, oh, they only let up 10 points and 7 of them were with the backups in. I'm not going to say that because this defense still is not good. Don't look at this and think the defense is good. The defense still is not good. Caleb Williams looked good. Marshawn Lloyd was good. Dorian Singer didn't get very much, but that's because they were beating him so badly. It's not really worth it to keep your guys in there. So this offense is still explosive. We knew it was going to be explosive. Defense, I don't know about that. It's suspect at best. Next, we got Penn State. This team is freaking good. I know they're playing Delaware. I know they let up 7 on Delaware on a pick 6. No, that was them. They got the pick 6. I know they let up 7 points with Delaware, but that's going to happen. You're going to have miscommunications. Delaware's got guys that are trying to win the game too. Drew Ayler looked fine, distributing the ball. Their run game looked good, but I was a little concerned with, what's his name, Nicholas Singleton. He's a sophomore. This Katron Allen is also a sophomore. Allen looked good. Singleton, every time he was in there, he kind of got bottled up. But it's whatever. I'm not really harping on it. The defense for Penn State looks freaking good as well. This is a top 5 team. I think this is a top 3 team, in my opinion. We're going to evaluate after this week. This is a loaded Penn State team. I think they're a big sleeper to – I don't even know if it's a sleeper. They're a big sleeper to win the Big Ten, though. They're probably my second favorites to Michigan, but I'm ready to see Penn State win that Big 10, excuse me. All right, Washington. Let's talk about Washington. Michael Penix, he had a mistake in there, but Michael Penix looked good. That's all I really got. Braylon Trice looked good. I didn't see Zion, the defensive end. I didn't see Zion playing at all. Hope he's not injured. I hope they kind of were just giving him a week off, or maybe only played a few drives and just didn't get any stats or anything. But I didn't notice him. But Braylon Trice looked good. This Tennessee team, Austin Peay is a solid FCS school. They are not that, they're not stay within 17 points good. You know what I mean? I'm worried about Tennessee. I think they might lose in Gainesville this week against Florida. It's like J. I don't remember Jatavion maybe Jalen Wright, the running back. He looks good. He looks like the real deal. Joe Milton looked okay. Again, he was erratic like he usually is, but there's no receivers. They don't have receivers. Their defense is not that good. They don't have the receivers. Uh, Jalen Wright, and then there was another running back. I don't remember. Abari Small. They look good. But other than that, I don't really know, man. I don't know. I think they're on upset alert this week. All right, give me 1 second, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. I had to let my cat inside. So now we're with number 10, Notre Dame. Sam Hartman is freaking good. He's probably top 5 for me, top 5 in Heisman voting, and he's played real teams. He's played real teams. There are other guys in there, Caleb Williams, Shedeur Sanders, Bo Nix, Michael Penix. Like, those are my 5 probably. Is that 5? I think so. But they haven't all played great teams. This dude has. He hasn't played great teams for every single one, but he's looked solid. He's looked composed. I love Sam Hartman with Notre Dame. I think he is a top. Honestly, he's coming up in a loaded quarterback class. This dude's a top 5 quarterback in this class right now. If he keeps playing this way, I understand he's 24 years old. I think he'll be 25 when the NFL season starts, but how is he not a first-round pick? Honestly, how is he not? Even if you're okay, let's put this experiment in. Even if you have Caleb Williams, Drake May, Shedeur Sanders, talk about the Duke guy, Riley Leonard. Sure, we'll throw him in there. Michael Penix Jr. Quinn Ewers? Did I say Bo Nix already? Like, you can have 7 quarterbacks in the first round. I think this quarterback class is loaded. Audric Estime, someone told me it is pronounced Estime. You do pronounce the T. I don't know why the other person was not pronouncing the T, but he looks good, man. This dude is good. Those tackles we talk about with Notre Dame, they look good as well. They let up a couple. I'm not sure if they let up the sacks, if the interior let up the sacks, but there were a couple sacks made by NC State. But that's a solid team. Defense might let this man down, though. The defense is supposed to be good. They haven't looked great. They just looked solid, and this offense is explosive. Going to Utah at Baylor. I was big on Baylor coming into the season with Dave Aranda. I thought their quarterback, Shapen, maybe? Something like that. I don't actually remember what the quarterback's name was, but I thought that he was good enough. Dave Aranda was going to keep games close. And then they ended up losing the quarterback, and they lost the first game. Utah is a running team. Jaquavion Jackson. What's his name? Jaquavion Jackson? Jaquandon Jackson is his name. This dude's a freaking beast. This running back is really, really good. Utah is going to run it down your throat and just ask their quarterback to kind of be a game manager. They can't do it without Cam Rising. Watching this game was very painful. Baylor and Dave Aranda made it difficult on these quarterbacks. And Utah can't do it without Cam Rising, I don't think. So hopefully he gets back soon. Again, Baylor's going to be a tricky team for some teams. I think he's going to put a lot of Big 12 teams on upset watch. So going to Oregon at Texas Tech. This Oregon defense, this Texas Tech offense, it's an explosive offense, but it's not a good offense. You know what I mean? Their quarterback ran it 23 times. So I'm a little worried about Oregon's defense is what I'm trying to say right there. Bo Nix looked really, really good. Of course, Bo Nix to Troy Franklin. That's the connection. That is the connection that we like to see. I think it's probably a top 5 QB to wide receiver combo. You got, I was going to say McCord to Marvin Harrison Jr., but I don't really like McCord. But then you got the Colorado guys. You got Florida State with Jordan Travis and Keon Coleman. So you got some guys. Next, so this LSU team was sleeping after their loss to Florida State last week. It was 14-10 after the first quarter to Grambling. And Grambling's always a feisty team. Don't get me wrong, but they just started out really, really slow. This is a really loaded LSU defense. This LSU defense has a ton of NFL talent on it, and they just were kind of sleeping at the beginning of the game. Finally picked things up. Jalen Daniels looked fine. Of course, Malik Neighbors was doing his thing. Finally, some of the defense started making plays too. So good for them. I think they're a solid team. I think they're gonna end up. I think they might win. I still think they might win the SEC West. All right, Troy, very tough Troy team goes and plays Kansas State. It was honestly, I think it was 14-10 with like 10 seconds left to go, and then Kansas State ended up getting a touchdown within like 10 seconds of halftime. So it was 14-10 right before halftime. And this is a good Kansas State team too. I said it the other week. This is a solid Kansas State team. Will Howard just needs to do enough, and that's all he needs to do. 250, 3 touchdowns, interception is what he needs to do. They got some weapons. Their running backs with DJ Gidden, and Trayshawn Ward are solid running backs. They didn't do much this week. Troy really did a good job stopping them, but they got enough to get it done. Again, good job stopping them, but they put up 42 points. So, but this Kenny Vidal, what's his name? Kimani Vidal. That dude looks good. That's an NFL running back at Troy. I really think that's an NFL running back right there. He was running through contact and everything. I actually think that's a pretty good running back. All right, going to Oregon State. Starters didn't play that long. Not really much to look at. That's it. Going to North Carolina. They played a tough App State team. This App State team is good. This App State team's always feisty. They got this Davis dude who's a beast receiver. And again, this dude is a junior or a senior. Amarion Hampton, the running back for North Carolina. He's a freaking bowling ball. This dude's like 225 pounds. Ran 26 times for 234 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ended up winning it in overtime. Congrats to North Carolina. Drake May did not play his best game. He didn't play terribly. He just did not play his best game. This Oklahoma team, there's supposed to be offensive studs with suspect defense. I said defense was getting better last week, but like Dillon Gabriel, is Dillon Gabriel the problem with this offense? This offense is kind of sputtering right now, and I kind of feel like it's Dillon Gabriel's fault. All right, going to Washington State, Wisconsin. I told you guys Washington State's going to win this game. Wisconsin cannot compete with them in their high-powered offense. Luke Fickell's there with Tanner Mordecai. Make Tanner Mordecai throw the ball. That's the thing. I like Tanner Mordecai as a person. I think Luke Fickell's a good coach. Make Tanner Mordecai throw the ball. That's what they did. They made him throw the ball. He made a couple mistakes. Don't let them run the ball. They got Malusi, and they got probably one of the best running backs in the game or in college right now with Braylon Allen. Don't let them run the ball. And they ran the ball with minimal success, forced Mordecai to try to throw the ball. Awesome. My boy Cam Ward is a beast. I don't think he I want to say he didn't do that great this week. Let's look at this really quickly. 20 for 32, 212, 2 touchdowns. Ran the ball 17 times for 43 yards. Like, he did okay. He didn't do great. He did okay, though. But that's my boy, Cam Ward, man. Again, that's another one. Is he going to sneak into the first round because of traits? He just might. Honestly, he just might. Let's go to our next game. We got Ole Miss Tulane. I thought this was going to be a really, really exciting game. Ole Miss with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart looked good. Junkins, the running back, he looked okay. He didn't do anything extremely tremendous, but he looked okay. Tulane didn't have Michael Pratt. I don't know what happened there. They didn't start Michael Pratt. He didn't play in the entire game at quarterback, so I was a little confused about that. That's it. That's my analysis for that game. Next, let's go to Duke. Now ranked 21. Riley Leonard is good. That's all I got to say. Riley Leonard is good. They played Lafayette. They had their starters in for about 2 quarters. We went into halftime, brought out some of the other guys. I didn't watch the game. I was seeing it was a blowout during other games. Decided I'm not going to put it on. looked at some of the highlights. Dude, this Riley Leonard guy is an NFL quarterback. Next, Nebraska, Colorado. So Nebraska, we got Matt Rule and Jeff Sims, the transfer from Georgia Tech. I'm a Jeff Sims fan. I really like Jeff Sims. But the fumbles, bad interception, cost them the game. Nebraska, I think Nebraska should have won this game. I think Colorado is a really good team, and they made a lot of good adjustments in the second half. This Xavier Weaver is a freaking beast. Wears number 10, so fast, so quick. Shedeur Sanders, really good quarterback. I think he's a top 5 pick this year if he comes out. Obviously, you got Shiloh Sanders up top. I didn't think he had a great game, but I definitely didn't think it was a bad game. And Travis Hunter doing it all. You definitely saw them lock him down a little bit more on the offensive end, and definitely go at him on defense, which I love to see. That's super smart. Is really attacking him and making him fight a little bit on defense to use more of his energy, so he's not as big of a threat on offense. That's smart. That's what I would do too. All right, next game we have Miami and Texas A&M. Dude, this is the Tyler Van Dyke for Miami, the quarterback that we were talking about 2 years ago with the Malik Willis draft class and the Kenny Pickett and Desmond Ridder, where we're like, yeah, this Tyler Van Dyke kid is going to be a first-round pick, and he stunk it up. This is the Tyler Van Dyke. If this Tyler Van Dyke comes to play every single week for the rest of the year, they have a chance to meet up with Florida State in the conference championship, have a really good game with a bunch of NFL scouts watching, and he's got the size. He's got everything. If he can put games on like this, maybe he doesn't come out this year because the class is so loaded, but next year, you could talk about him being a top 5 pick as well. Evan Stewart, the 5-star wide receiver for Texas A&M, did work. Connor Wegman had his ups and downs. I feel like he kind of cost them that game, though. Other than defense putting up 48 points, obviously. All right, and then Clemson, 66-17. This game was so close for so long, and it should not have been. Charleston Southern stuck with Clemson for an entire half. For an entire half, they stuck with Clemson. I don't know whose Clemson this is. This isn't the Clemson I've been watching for the last 8 or 9 years. I'm officially worried about Clemson. Will Shipley looked okay. Cade Klubnik did not, even though his stats are showing this, he did not look that good, especially for the first part of the game. This defense that's supposed to have loads of talent, where are the linebackers? Where's Trotter? Where's Xavier Thomas, the lineman? Where are all these guys we talked about? The safety, Nate Higgins. Where are these guys? You can't. You're letting Charleston Southern score 17 points on you and a half. It's crazy. It really is. And if this was the first time, yes, we know Duke is better than we thought they were, but this isn't the first time. Duke put up 20-something points on you. Okay, sure, maybe that's okay, but you didn't look good during it. You looked like you were exposed the entire time. So I'm officially worried about them. Let's not look at the top 25. Let's look at everything. That's where I messed up. So we're going to look through this super quickly, talk about little tidbits of games that I was excited for. So starting off with Illinois, Kansas. Jalen Daniels finally back. Hello, Jalen Daniels. Welcome back to the game. Illinois, Jerzon Newton, the defensive lineman, is good. He's freaking good. I know we highlighted him in the summer for a little bit, but he's splashing way more than I expected him to. UCF winning on a last-second kick against Boise State. John Rice Plumlee looked good. Don't look at these 2 picks and say, oh, well, he threw 2 picks. They were literally receivers caught the ball and threw them backwards towards the defender. Both of these picks were not on him. He is injured. They say he's going to be out for multiple weeks. That sucks. Kobe Hudson, the receiver, looked good. He was probably the only receiver that looked good. Their running game looked good. Jordan Townsend maybe is the guy's name. He looks freaking good. But again, RJ Harvey is the guy in the backfield. RJ Harvey, I like this guy. He's an undersized running back. I think he can make it work in the next level. He's got good hands. He's got good explosiveness. He breaks tackles for being, I think he's like 5'8", 185, but he breaks tackles. So we'll see. Going to Florida, McNeese, nothing special there. Montrell Johnson looked really good. Travis Etienne looked, Travis or Trevor? I think it's Travis is the one at Florida. He looked super explosive as well. Offensive line still doesn't look good. Defense, I don't know. All right, we talked about Georgia. We talked about that game. Let's see if we find one more game. Great podcasting again. I love doing this part. Don't have anything to say about them. Nah, nothing about them. Boston College. Oh, Tommy Castellanos. That's it. I know the name. James Madison, I called that game. I said they were going to beat Virginia. I don't think I said it on here because we didn't go over games, but I called it. I didn't think Virginia would put up that many points, though. Don't have anyone there. Don't have anything to say about that. Kentucky. Devin Leary doesn't look how I thought he would look in this offense. I thought he would be a lot more dynamic. He's not, which isn't a bad thing. Maybe he doesn't have to be. This Robinson, though, he's a senior this year. Tavion Robinson. That dude looks pretty good. I want to watch him next week. I think in 2 weeks he plays Florida. Definitely want to watch that game. I want to see what he does. BYU, don't have anything to say. Iowa versus Iowa State. Sure, we'll talk about this game really, really quickly. I know you guys care so much about Iowa. We talked about Iowa's tight ends, and Eric All's not doing great. Like, he's just not getting the targets we thought he would get. Instead, this Luke Lockey is getting the better targets. So, like, they're both got 3 targets, 56, or 3 receptions, 56, and 3 receptions, 32. But that's, like, the only offense. It's so crazy. Cade McNamara, I thought he was going to do a little bit better. Obviously, you want to just lean on the run. But Caleb Johnson, who's their lead running back, 1.9 yards per carry. So I don't actually know how they won this game. I didn't watch it, and so I was just looking at the stats and everything, and I'm like, how do you end up winning this game? It's crazy. So I wanted to say something about that. So if you know how they ended up winning, go ahead and put it down in the comments below. I think we got like 3 more games that are like actually halfway interesting. Oh, Michigan State. I don't even want to comment anything on it, but the Mel Tucker situation, that was a surprise. Oh, Nathaniel Carter's on this team too. All right, Michigan State. Mel Tucker, what he did was crazy. I just think it wasn't smart. That's all I'm going to say about it. I don't really want to get into the weeds with it. You guys can research it if you want and make your own opinions on it. But this Nathaniel Carter, I watched him at UConn when he was a true freshman. This dude was so good with no one around him, bouncing off tackles, everything like that. Look at this Nathaniel Carter kid. Did he catch anything? I want to see if he got anything in the receiving game. Yeah, they call him Nathan Carter. He went by Nathaniel Carter when he was at UConn. I still have it in my notes because I wrote it down because I was watching the game live. Yeah, this kid's going to be special. I believe he's like only a junior. Here, we're going to pull it up. You guys don't care. He's a sophomore. This dude is a COVID year sophomore. Yeah, I think this is his 3rd year, yeah. Yeah. This guy is so good. That's all I wanted to say is I recognized the name. I saw him. I put him on my list. I said, when this guy is draft eligible, which technically this year he is draft eligible, I need to watch him. I need to evaluate him because this is a guy who I think could be a big-time guy. And that's while watching him when he was 18 years old. I don't know about now. We'll have to reevaluate the tape. But, all right, that's what I got to say about that. This Northwestern team is bad, but this UTEP team is even worse. That's all I got to say. Syracuse. Oh, they're not getting the ball to Aronde Gadsden II, the tight end wide receiver hybrid, the one that his dad is a Hall of Famer, the one where he's the fastest receiver they have on top of being 6'6", like 230 pounds. Why are they not getting him the ball? Yeah, they won 48-7. They got him the ball twice. That's it. That's all I had to say about that one. This Texas State team's good, I think at least. But this UTSA team, I like Frank Harris a lot. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback, but I just love watching the kid play. He plays with so much heart. And Arkansas, they did not play Rocket Sanders, their running back. I don't know what happened. Instead, they put this AJ Green in, 15 for 82 yards, looked good. KJ Jefferson doesn't look good. The first 2 weeks doesn't look good. I was excited for this backfield, just doesn't look good. That's it. It doesn't look good. That's all I got to say about that one. And we will say, don't you guys love this part of the video? I apologize. I'm not going to cut it out though. I still don't really know how to do that stuff. So, this dude, Phil Jurkovec, is not a good quarterback. That's it. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Is that bad? Yeah, I get 3 views on the videos, but like, should I be saying stuff like that about people? I don't know. I think that's it. Mississippi State. Oh, Jaden DeLora looks good for Arizona. Good quarterback for Arizona. Will Rogers, not that great of a quarterback for Mississippi State. I think they got lucky to win that game. South Carolina, again, playing Furman. That defense is suspect. UCLA, don't really have anything. Carson Steele looked good. Is that what I should say about them? TCU, I think TCU is a good team. When you can get Chandler Morris to be a distributor, and that's all he is, it looks good. This is what we want to see. Obviously, it's against Nichols, but... And that's it. That's it. That's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you guys appreciate you guys staying for the last 5 minutes that it was just kind of a bunch of nonsense. Put down, like the video. I haven't done this in a few days. I apologize. Like the video. Subscribe if you enjoyed. Put down in the comments if I missed any games that you wanted to hear about. And then tomorrow or Thursday, I'm hoping tomorrow or Thursday, we'll go ahead and talk about the NFL games from this weekend. So appreciate you guys stopping by. Have a good day. Peace.